Yo, what's going on, everybody? Currently just making like this list that I did not think would be. I would say I didn't think it would be this long. I just wasn't expecting to maybe mention all of these names, but they're gonna be mentioned. They have to be mentioned. I think. So we're gonna get into it. We're gonna get into it. All right, we're gonna get into it. I don't want to mention all of them, but most of them. Most of them. Uh, we gotta talk about the old apologists, y'all. But before I get into that, before I get into the the ramblings and all that, all right, the likes and the ums and all that. I'm the Black Manga Critic. You know who I am. If you're watching this video, most likely at this point, like if you're in the stream, you know who I am. Blah, 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 welcome to the channel, all that stuff. Let's get that out of the way. Now. Let me. I'm not gonna, let me share it on Twitter. There's a few things I want to say before I really get into the ramblings. So just people are just sort of like aware of like where I'm coming from. So let me just share the video on Twitter, like the stream on Twitter, so folks know that like the stream is on, and because some people like if you're not subscribed, you're not gonna know. So I like to just like throw it out there on Twitter so that folks who aren't necessarily who aren't subscribed to the channel, but maybe do watch the channel, like just can know on Twitter, because that's just the thing, and it's cool. And it's I think it's just a good thing to do. So I'm just gonna tell people to come through. Oh, I spelled apologists wrong. Oh well, I'll fix it. I'll fix it in a bit. Apologists. All right, I missed that. Oh. But it's fine. It's fine. All right. So let's get into it. Let's get into it. Because we got to talk about the nonsense. And this is something that I feel like a lot of people have similar feelings about people who do sort of like defend Oda in this sort of like over the top way, very sort of like rose colored rose-colored glasses, but really, like green-colored glasses, like with the Wizard of Oz, like esque sort of stuff, and it's like, come on, it's so, and the thing is, like for me, like I wouldn't say that it's like exhausting. I think I'm like past that point. I think there was a point where when I sort of like started really sort of getting into just like critiquing Oda and One Piece, and talk about the issues that I had and still have with the series, and how I feel like those issues are not getting better, they're getting worse. It was an exhausting sort of thing to just like go through, to hear people talk, to hear their thoughts, and just like to see them like defend Oda to the death. Like these like folks out here are really gonna be like, yo man, I swear to God, like like if you say something bad about Oda, like I'm coming to your house. I'm like, yep. One, you're not gonna come to my apartment. You don't stop it. Two, please. Three, chuckle. Because stop. Like it's ridiculous. But the second thing is just like, really though, like, is this man paying like you a salary? You got a 401k in the works. Is the pension plan legit? The healthcare on point? You know what I mean? Like, what's going on for that level of like, for those levels of like, for that level of like apologists to just like be out here? It's so ridiculous, And it's like, I remember seeing that. This is what I want to say. I wanted to say a few things before I really got into like the sort of like critiques and talking about it. And if anybody that is sort of watching wants to, I don't want to say if you want to join the stream, because I have to like change the makeup of it. But I definitely want to have like a conversation stream with like some with my close friends, like people that I know through Twitter, through social media, at some point sooner rather than later. But like, if anybody has things that they want to say or points that you want me to sort of like throw out there, please, throw those out there. But Family Guy, what's good? But, so the first thing I want to say is, I think like for a while, you know, I was at a place where I was like, you know what, um, I can't I can't like I'm not enjoying this series, so I'm not going to read it because I'm not enjoying this series. Um, though I think what's happened, at least for me, is that it's become like, let's say like if I want to critique like a particular art, let's say if I want to critique Wano, I'm like Wano, like makes it very clear that these things that I've been talking about have not gotten better, right? If I want to critique Wano, like I gotta read the chapters, right? Like I can't go out around, you know, and say I've only read 20 something chapters of Wano, but I know Wano's trash. Like that's something that like I actually I get that. I get that like criticism. So for me, I'm not gonna let folks just be like, "Oh, he ain't even read the chat." Like I'm not like that's not gonna be something that I'm just gonna like sort of like let sit. Um, at the same time, if I want to say, "Hey, you know what? I'm critiquing this series. I feel like I need to read these chapters to critique the series," right? Then that's my prerogative. That's something that I get to do, right? Now, for me, like, so let's say someone like Nye is like, oh, you know, oh, he came back to One Piece. Like, for me, that's fine because Nye and I, like, we know each other, like, you know what I mean? Like, we joke around with each other all the time. You know, that's something that we do, like, constantly. So it's not a big deal for me. But I think, you know, for me, it's like, but I want to critique this series. I want to be like, yo, this ain't it. This ain't it. You know what I mean? Like, this arc ain't it. The arc before that wasn't it. The arc before that wasn't. You know what I mean? It's like, come on, man. Yeah, step your game up. All right, I definitely got and in terms of reactions to other series, I got you this week. I got y'all. I'm gonna be reacting to the Haikyuu, the Haipu, right? I'm gonna be reacting to My Hero, Battle Angel Alita. Like I'm gonna get to all those series, all the series. The Promised Neverland, I'm gonna catch up on. I've heard things about like how this quality is dropped, and I agree. Like I agree, I do. All right. It's kind of why like I just kind of like let them. I've been letting those chapters pile up because I'm like, all right. But One Piece. All right. So I gotta read these things, and well, it's not to say that I have to read these things, but for me, it just makes sense for me to be like, all right, I'm gonna read these chapters, especially because I have friends. I got friends who are on sort of like the same page that I'm on in terms of like or close to it, like in terms of like how I feel about post time skip One Piece, and where it's headed and the sort of like decline that I feel like has happened, especially when it comes to how Oda writes the women of One Piece, not only just as characters period, but like in relation to the sort of like the world that he's creating. You know what I mean? So it I gotta read it. I gotta read it. Are there chapters that I think are okay, like in terms of like how I think One Piece fans like would react to them? Sure. I think like most of the time those like the info dump chapters, those chapters are always pretty interesting because like that's sort of like, to me, like Oda's sort of bread and butter, like at least like in one aspect, like that's sort of his thing, like that's his shtick, like to put all this like massive sort of like stuff within the chapter and to be like, oh, like that's his shtick, that's what he does. All right. Now, now when it comes to Oda apologists, and especially when it comes to sort of like One Piece, like when it comes to sort of like One Piece post time skip and the characters and how they're treated, whew, Lord have mercy. I mean, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad out here, y'all. And I've seen folks like I had just recently started like watching other people's videos. Like after I caught up to read the chapters that I had not read, I was like, all right, let me go see what other folks have said about these chapters, about this arc, blah, blah. I wanted to get my own ideas about how I felt about it and read that first and sort of like solidify that to it in a sense, and then see what other people were saying or other folks were thinking about those about particular chapters and all that stuff. So for me, my thing is like, I can understand, like, right, like logically or empathize to a degree, to be like, hey, these people enjoyed this thing, like enjoyed the thing, right? Like that's like a general sort of thing that I can say, but that's not super useful for me. It's not useful for me. You know what I mean? It's not useful for me. So like, what is useful is to be like, all right, what are the critiques that I have about One Piece, and how do I talk about them, and how do I sort of like, not, I don't want to say come at, like, in a sort of aggressive sense, but how do I sort of like, maybe like show others that some of the things that they enjoy about a particular One Piece chapter are actually kind of like really like offensive and kind of like absurd and a little ridiculous, and maybe just like take like a second thought, like think about it for a second time, you know you know what I mean? It's like so maybe what I would do is, I'm not gonna get to Wano first. I'm not gonna get to Wano first. All right. Oh, Miss Millie was good. Shoddy was good. Richard the God was good. So just cap just means like that's like a like that, like that's not true, right? Like, so if someone says like that's cap, that's like that's not true. But if someone says like no cap, that's like, yeah, that's facts. Like, yeah. Like, so I would say that's how I feel about it. But this is the thing. And so for me, it's like, I know that there are going to be people who will defend One Piece to the death. Like, they just will always do that, and you cannot convince them otherwise. And it might actually be a waste of your energy to do that. So don't waste your time. Now when it comes to let's say One Piece and where I want to start, I'm probably going to focus on a lot. It's just, again, I always talk about this. I always say this, like, again, talking about how Oda is sexist. This is something that I think has to be very obvious. I think even to folks that are whatchamacallit, even to folks that like enjoy One Piece generally, and like, are fans still like pretty like intense fans of the series and all of that, and sometimes will apologize for certain things, right? It's just like, even those folks will see like, yo, Oda kind of tripping right now. Even those folks are like, you know what I mean? So when even those folks love One Piece to death, will go for it, we'll cape for it, we'll do all that stuff, are like, nah, that ain't it. That's when like, oof, that really ain't it. Okay, that really ain't it. All right. So one example, this is something I talked about on Twitter, and this is sort of like the first example that I'll give. But this example is sort of like one of many examples. So this is not just, one thing that I'm saying that is, sort of like existing in a vacuum on its own. That doesn't make any sense, because this is a part of a massive story, a very long story that has other plot points, narrative streams that are ongoing at the time. So it's not just that like this one thing happened and that's it. It's like this one thing is very much sort of related to and similar to all these other examples that just kind of like, come together to form this amalgamation of proof that like, yo, Oda's a sexist. I don't know how you get out of that. All right. So for one, so the first example, Suru. Suru is probably like, for me, it's a personal thing, because when I saw Suru for the first time, I was like, oh, she's gotta be dope. She's gotta be dope, right? Because you were like, yo, she's an OG. You knew, right? Shout out to Jackson P. Brown on Twitter, who talked about that when we were sort of like, when we were talking on Twitter, talking about how like, yo, we want to see Suru do more things. We want to hear about the stories, all of that. All right, but Suru was the OG. Like, she was with Garp, she was with Sengoku, holding it down, fighting pirates. All right, but it's like, what has Suru done? Right? Where is the narrative space for Suru? Right? Like, where is it, like, in the way that it should be? Like, it's like, right, Suru was someone who was hanging with Garp, hanging with Sengoku. How is it that Sengoku gets all that time shine, Garp gets all that time to shine, but Tsuru is chilling somewhere, babysitting, Doflamingo in probably right sea stone cuffs and chains, on a boat, having to listen to him talk about whatever, his little yap with a speech, right? She's just sitting there like, having to listen to that, and the rest of them doing all these big things in the war, fighting, throwing hands, doing all that, and then Oda has the nerve to say, "Oh, she an OG, but, I, no, I'm not gonna, no, I don't. She's not that important. I don't, right?" And then, right, so not even give her the narrative space that she should have as someone that is supposed to be in a particular in a sort of league in terms of in a sort of league, or it has the same respect as someone of Garp's stature or Sengoku's stature, but to say like, I'm not even gonna give you that narrative space, and then to give her and then say, you know what, I'm gonna give you a devil fruit, right? And this is like the most absurd. This is the absurd part of it all, right? I'm gonna give you a I'm gonna give you a devil fruit, right? Let me see. Yeah, Don Quixote the Joker, just like chill, seriously. Otherwise, like you gotta go. Sorry. All right. But yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. But instead of giving her a devil fruit that like would be someone that would sort of match someone of her stature, right? And you'd be like, well, okay, that's a cool devil fruit, right? Like, or not give her a devil fruit. It's it is what it is, right? Garp doesn't have a devil fruit, but he's like the hero. Garp is the hero. He don't need a devil fruit. He's just throwing hands. That's it. His haki is like at absurd levels. We get it, all right? But to give her a devil fruit, but then to give her a laundry devil fruit, a wash no meat devil fruit, like, are you kidding me? You know what I mean? Like a wash no me devil fruit. Oda's legit said, you know what? I really don't respect women like that at all. I'm gonna be so disrespectful and just so out of pocket, so blatantly out of pocket. I'm gonna give the woman who might be the most respected outside of let's say outside of Big Mom, right? Within One Piece, I'm gonna give the woman that's probably the most respected outside of One Piece. Not outside of One Piece, outside of Charlotte Linlin. I'm gonna give her a laundry fruit. What? You know what I mean? Oh, you had the audacity to give a woman of high stature in your series a laundry fruit. I mean, and this is the thing, right? Folks will be willfully ignorant to all sort of like the context of that decision, right? They'll just be like, oh, the laundry fruit's cool. It does so many decent things. Yada yada yada. You don't know. Maybe you got to think about this one. I'm like, seriously. He gave a woman a laundry fruit. We understand the politics, right? We understand the politics of, man, nah. Like, I'm gonna be honest. Like, again, if you cannot be respectful in that chat, you gotta go. Period. All right. So if you do something, and I'm being straight up right now. If you do something, Joker, like if you do something and you're like, and folks in the chat are like, nah, that's not it. One of them was just gonna boot you, and that's it. And that's it. You know what I mean? So no. So we have to understand the politics, the gender politics that surround such a decision, right? We know, like, if like we know that within the politics, right? It's like, if you have a woman or a girl in your manga, especially in a Battlestar manga, doing laundry, cooking, and not doing much else, that's wildly out of pocket, right? Right, and she's a fighter, right? And she's a fighter, and you say, hey, go do some laundry, go cook us a meal. That's super out of pocket. We have to know that. We have to know that. I don't, like, if you don't, go read some books, read dumb books, do that research, Google, ask some folks some questions until you get it. Because we gotta know that. We gotta know that. All right? We gotta know that. We gotta know that. All right. So for me, that's why, like, when I use Sudo as an example, just one sort of example, it's like folks are legitimately trying to come out to me talking about, well, her fruit is actually really interesting, and maybe. I'm like, why are you giving me these hypotheticals when Oda should have just presented that? Oda should have presented that as amazing, right? He should have presented Sudo as like someone who had a devil fruit that was like incredible in the way that she used it. That's Oda's job to do that. He's the writer, right? It's not my job or your job or anyone else's job to contemplate how Sudo's devil fruit might be useful, or how it might be amazing, or how it might be great. No. He's got to show that. He's got to present that. He didn't do it. He didn't do it. That's one example. All right. That's one example. All right. And I could go down. I got a list. I got a whole list of just women who've been treated like garbage in this series. A list. Okay. And it's not just me that has a list. There are folks out there, people that I talk to all the time. I got a list. Folks have written articles on this. All right. One thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sort of pull together all those articles and different things that I've read and link them via Twitter. I'm just gonna create a thread. All right. So now so let's use sort of like another example. Let's talk about the sort of obvious kind of examples, because I would like to start with that before I move on to sort of like the other examples that involve a little bit more sort of like nuance in terms of the sort of literary environment and how things have been written, in terms of like the Western canon and stuff like that, and not just the Western canon, but other sort of like canons as well. But let's talk about One Piece. Let's talk about like and let's talk about Baby Five, who is again another egregious example. Just hot doo-doo. That's like Baby Five. Baby Five is such a hot doo-doo character. I cannot. And the thing is, if you had Baby Five in any other manga, you'd be like, yo, this character is trash, right? And in any other sort of instance, you'd be like, yo, Baby Five is one of the worst characters, if not the worst character within the Dressrosa arc. But then you have Rebecca. And it's like, yo. Then you have Rebecca. Baby Five is terrible. She dresses like a maid with weapons that don't really do much to anyone other than fodder, right? And then Oda has the audacity to put her in a role of, oh, I just want to be useful. I just want to help people, most of the time men. That's not coincidental, y'all. That's not coincidental. Okay? Again, that's just a second example. All right? The second egregious example. Okay? Sudo is one, Baby Five is another. Both awful, just awfully treated. Terribly treated. All right? And then it's like, oh, I've married this man. I don't gotta do nothing no more. I'm good. I'm just gonna stand by him. That's it. That's all I'm gonna do. I'm gonna help him. You know what I mean? Yeah, you know what I mean? It's just like, that's just two. And this is the thing. And what I want to say before I sort of move on to all these other examples, is that at some point I'm going to get to talking about how Um, going sort of back to my first ramblings video, and how one thing that Weekly Shonen Jump in particular, and this is because I'm most familiar with Weekly Shonen Jump in terms of sort of like battle shonen manga. I've read other battle shonen manga in other magazines like Weekly Shonen and all that stuff, but Weekly Shonen Jump in particular, what tends to happen in Weekly Shonen Jump manga, battle shonen manga, is initially the mangakas will at some level, I don't know what level is it, but at some level, even though they are clearly sexist, what they will do is they'll introduce these characters, these girls, women, whatever, that are pretty great, right? They do interesting things. We think at some point they're gonna be amazing and we're gonna progress and you're gonna be like, yo, for the most part, right? And then slowly but surely the story will go, especially the longer series, right? The longer series. Slowly but surely, all those women that we thought were great, cool, dope, we could present as being like, she dope. Slowly but surely, the mangaka will just like phase them out of the story until they are just hot garbage. And we're just like, what happened? Right? One of the biggest critiques in terms of One Piece and other Weekly Shonen Jump manga is that we will see women or girls within that manga at the beginning, and this is something that I said in my first ramblings video, right? We will see women or girls in the beginning of those manga, of those narratives, and then when we get like closer and closer to sort of like the middle ground, the end game, all of that, just phased out. That's not to say it happens with all of them, but too many of them to count, right? And we've said this with One Piece. We're like, yo, what happened to Nami though? What happened to Robin though? What happened? You know what I mean? And this is not just, again, it's not just One Piece. I said this about My Hero. Okay? I even threw something out in that first video about Hunter x Hunter, and I was like, yo, Hunter x Hunter, gotta do a little bit of work with that too. Okay? So it's not just One Piece, but One Piece is clearly the most popular Weekly Shonen Jump manga. All right? And I'm gonna talk about it. And it's something that I've read up until this point. So I'm going to talk about it. I get to talk about it. You know what I mean? So it's just those are just two examples. And if I keep going, all right, I'm just going to check some of these on Baby 5. Rebecca, let me get into Rebecca real quick. I mentioned Baby 5, I mentioned Rebecca, Suru. All right. But when we get to Rebecca, most like 99.9% of the One Piece fan base knows that Rebecca is a awful character. We understand that. I think we have to. I think if there's someone out there that's like, Rebecca was so great, I mean, please don't insult our intelligence. Why are you doing that? Why are you insulting our intelligence with Rebecca's a great character? I mean, Oda put her in a chainmail bikini, and didn't allow her to learn armament haki, but gave her observation haki. Why do you think that is? You think that's a coincidence? You think it's a coincidence? And of course we know like the story reason why, which is like, oh, Kitos is her father and he didn't want his daughter to fight or sell your hands or anything like that. I'm like, man, I guarantee you if he had a son, Kitos would have been like, yo, you better learn that armament haki. If Kitos had a son, he would have been like, yo, I'm going to teach you armament haki. I'm going to teach you observation haki. You gon' go in. But, because Rebecca, and she's a girl, she's a woman, nah. We got to maintain that purity. I can't even touch you with my regular hand because I'm dirty and I don't want, but, and I get where Oda's sort of going with that. But again, it just feeds into this really awful sexist rhetoric. It's so bad. Oda has a really hard time giving women armament haki. He has a really hard time with that. He's like, I don't know if I'm gonna give 20 women armament haki. I don't know if I'm gonna do that. He has a very difficult time outside of like the Kuja tribe, right? The Kuja tribe, which is like, How often are they in the story fighting, throwing hands, doing all that? They had an arc, and even then, it wasn't really like that. It was like, all right, I'm gonna move on from this arc fairly quickly into the Impel Down and Marineford stuff. So he has a very hard time giving women certain offensive capabilities when it comes to hockey. All right. I'm not even gonna get into this sort of idea of like Western standards of feminism and Japanese sort of standards and what we're doing and all that stuff and all that, because like that's like a whole nother that's just a whole other conversation for another time. I just don't have the time or energy to talk about this stuff and then talk about that and let's like school folks on why that's like just a ridiculous sort of thing to say and a ridiculous mindset to have. Because of just like folks that I've talked to who are in Japan, who are on the ground doing the work, talking about why that's ridiculous, right? I just can't. I can't do that right now. I can't do that right now. I don't have time. I don't have time for it. I don't, not right now. Okay. But again, just to say, no, stop. All right. So we understand that Rebecca is like a garbage sort of case, and a terribly written character. Couldn't even fight Diamante. Oda could not be bothered to give Rebecca the skills to fight Diamante, who was really kind of trash. All right, I think a lot of us agree with that. That Diamante was kind of like a letdown. He was kind of garbage. All right, and Kitos basically said, "I'm just gonna slash down really hard. And that's how I'm gonna beat you." I mean, at that point in Dressrosa, to be like, I'm just gonna slash down really hard, and that's gonna be one of the one of the top tier executives of the Del Flamingo family. I'm gonna slash down really hard. Yo, I'm sorry. I can't. Come on, son. This is ridiculous. I'm gonna get to the mom thing. The mom thing is there's a lot behind that. Diamante was garbage. Get that out of here, please. Again, don't insult my intelligence with that nonsense. Come on. Get out of here. All right? So, we talk about Rebecca. We understand that. Rebecca just did not, like, Baby Fire wasn't really given a chance to do much. Rebecca's not given a chance to do much besides dodge all the time. Because for some reason, Kitos is like, I can't be bothered to teach you armament haki, even though you probably should know armament haki. It might help you defend yourself. Because one quality of armament haki is its defensive quality. But just slipped my mind, even though I'm like the strongest warrior, and that might be something that I should be aware of. Right? So garbage. Alright. But you know, we just let that stuff slide because Oda's amazing. He's just so great. I mean, just look at all the amazing things he's done. Forget the sexist stuff. We don't even really need to think about that. Okay? I mean, now I know Don Quixote trolling. I know he trolling now. So I'm just going to ignore all the rest of that stuff, all the stuff. But, alright. So it's just like now we got a few other moments, right? So I'm gonna get to Bonnie. Real quick because I gotta talk about Bonnie real quick. All right, and this is like I got like three sort of examples, maybe 4 or 5 or something like that. So we gotta get to Bonnie real quick because Bonnie's one of the worst generations. She getting it in. She's throwing hands, she's doing all this stuff. Here's what we've seen from Bonnie so far. We've seen Bonnie having to sneak around, change her size, because folks don't, obviously folks won't take girls seriously. Folks won't take old women seriously, because why would we ever do that? Even though Suru exists and all these other women exist in the Marines and that are pirates. But why would we ever take old women and girls seriously? All right. So she's sneaking around trying to get, move through the Holy Land and all that. which is like whatever. I get it. It's covert. Fine, whatever. Even though there are some sexist implications there, but when we see her on Sabari, she didn't really do much. Was she in there getting busy, throwing hands, fighting like the other supernovas? No. No, she was not. We saw her throwing hands in Stampede. We saw her in the film. She was so important in Stampede. I haven't even seen Stampede, but I can guarantee you, if I can guarantee you, Bonnie was not that important in Stampede. I can guarantee it. I can guarantee it, 100%, 100. I can guarantee you, she was not doing much there. Guarantee you. Bonnie is one of the worst generation, one of the supernovas. Was she getting busy throwing hands? No. The only woman out of all of them. Was she throwing hands? No. She was like, oh, Onichan, I gotta save this person, I gotta throw ketchup, oh, Onichan. Like, and she was chastising Zoro, and that was like, okay. But it was also like, yeah, we couldn't see her do nothing against, anybody. We couldn't see her throw some hands. Against, some of those fodder Marines. We couldn't see her throw some hands against maybe one of the pacifists. We couldn't see her team up with somebody. Couldn't see her do that. It's just like there are decisions, and this is the thing. There are writers behind these decisions. These books don't write themselves. These stories don't write themselves. This is the stuff that I like. To me, it always boggles my mind because folks are just like, this is just a story, and this is sitting here, and I'm like, that's not how this works, yo. You know what I mean? Right? Where was Bonnie in Stampede? Folks thought she was getting busy in Stampede. I can guarantee you she was not getting busy like that in Stampede. I haven't even seen Stampede. Nor am I super interested in watching it. You know what I mean? But I can guarantee you she was not doing much in Stampede. She was not getting limelight in the way that certain characters always get the limelight. Most of the dudes. So it's... you're going to have a real hard time convincing me. You're going to have a real hard time convincing me. Okay? So the thing for me is like... And then the... cherry on top. Oda was like, you know what we should do with Bonnie? You know what we should do with Bonnie? We should have her be captured by Blackbeard. Scum of the universe. We should have her be captured by Blackbeard, scum of the universe, and then be like, hey, baby. why don't you be one of my concubines? Like, come on. I can't. I'm trying to hold in the laughter because it's so ridiculous and it's so blatantly out of pocket. Like, he couldn't be bothered to give Bonnie much. Like, bruh. There again, you always have to think about these writing choices in the context of not only this particular story, but all the other stories that have been written when it comes to battle shonen manga. The gendered politics that clearly exist in our realities and those politics and that those politics affect the fictional realities of that these writers write. I mean, bruh, this man had it. The Oda had it in him to say, you know what? All these supernovas would do it, getting busy, going to the new world, doing all that, and now I'm gonna have Bonnie be captured by Blackbeard and be like, hey, you wanna be my woman? And then folks would be like, but Bonnie told him off. Doodle. Yeah, like it's just like I don't like it when folks insult my intelligence. I don't like it. Okay? I don't like it. Bruh. It's just too much. Okay? And again, it's just like this is something that we see all the time. Now for me, for me, it's like to me, I feel like it's my obligation to talk about this stuff because I gotta. That's how I feel about it. I got it. I got it. All right. Now, we talk about Suru, nonsense there. All right. Even though I like Suru. I like Suru. I want to see more of Suru. I want to see her do something that sort of like, makes her not even necessarily just relevant, but like showcases her like her ability to stand with Sengoku and Garp. You know what I mean? To be like, yo, folks, don't mess with Suru. There's a reason why she was able to just sit around with Doflamingo and be like, he ain't gonna do nothing. Not to me. Like, we gotta see these things. You know? It's just, It's a mess. It's a mess. All right, we talked about Rebecca and that dumpster fire. Baby 5, another dumpster fire. Bonnie, which folks be standing Bonnie. Right? Dritz, where's the lore for Soda? Yo, and this is something I was talking about, again, with my friend Jackson P. Brown. We were just like, yo, where's the stories of her throwing hands, getting busy? Gartman and Goku, we know the feats. We know the feats. We like, that's that dude right there. Garp is that dude. Sengoku is that dude. Sengoku was like, Garp was that dude, and Sengoku was like, I'm putting your face in the dirt. You not gonna get up right now. And the only reason that has like such weight is because we understand who Garp is at that point, right? In Marineford. We know Garp is that dude. So when Sengoku's like, I'm putting your face in the dirt, we're like, oh, Sengoku is. And then we get to see Sengoku be that dude with the Buddha fruit, with the mythical zone fruit. We get to see that. Be like, literally just sumo slap the crap out of Blackbeard. It's like, get out of here. So to me, it's just again, I'm not losing sleep. In a sense, like I think people like when I sort of make these critiques, I think people think that like I'm just sitting around all day writing things down like. Okay, we gotta be normal again. No, I have work, right? I have work. I have a fiance. I'm in a relationship. I have a fiance. I have 4 cats, right? Like I teach. Like I see my family. I got stuff to do. I ain't got time to like spend 24 hours, 7 days a week, worried about, or being pressed about folks that are like, oh. All he does is talk bad about One Piece. I got stuff to do. I got other series to read. And I do that. So to me, it's always funny when people are like, man, you just spend all your time doing that. No, I don't. But I mean, if you think that that maybe you're projecting a little bit, and maybe you just have too much time where you're doing certain things, and maybe you gotta step your life up. Step your life choices up. I don't know. I don't know, but I know what I'm doing. I know I'm chilling. All right, I'm chilling in certain ways. So it's just funny. So that's why like when people come out to me talking about did Garp do anything in Marineford? Are you like 1, yes, and 2, again, we always have to think about the context. In terms of the gendered politics of not only the fictional stories, but this reality that affects the gendered politics of those fictional stories. Y'all getting on my last nerve trying to be like, oh, we're just going to act like certain things and certain people exist in a vacuum and characters exist in a vacuum. And, I'm not even going to acknowledge all that other stuff. Like, I'm just like, stop it. Please, again, do not insult my intelligence. Do not insult the intelligence of other folks. No, we're not gonna do that today. You want to do that somewhere else? You want to waste your own time somewhere else? Go do that. I've made a decision. I ain't gonna waste my time talking with folks that I know just don't get it and will not get it and don't want to get it. You can tell when folks don't want to get it because they will shift the conversation and they will shift the focus, right? Or the foci, right? They will shift them. and they'll be like, "Oh, I'm talking about this over here," even though I'm talking about this over here. You know, like that's like a big red flag for me whenever I see stuff like that. I'm like, no. One, you're not gonna waste my time. All right, so that's when if I'm on Twitter and I see somebody try to do that, I'm like, nope, and I'm ending the conversation. I'm just like, I don't want to talk to you no more. Have a nice day, and that's what I'll write. I'll just say, I don't want to talk to you no more. Have a nice day, and then I will just leave that. And then if you want to continue to like post and tweet at me and do all these things, you could waste your own time doing that. That's fine. I'm not even gonna block you. I'm just gonna let everybody else that sees that stuff laugh at you. Cause you looking a fool. You acting a fool. Folks can watch you. You entertainment to them. It is what it is. All right. But y'all not gonna tell me. Y'all not gonna tell me that the girls and the women of One Piece are just as important as the boys and men of One Piece. Y'all not gonna tell me that. Y'all not gonna tell me that. So again, this is the stuff that I can bring up, and like people will be like, you only mentioned Big Mom. What about her? Again, there's just a list here. There's a list here. I have a list here. All right. I don't know if I'm gonna get to all of them. I might try. Remember, folks were talking about. You know what I mean? Folks were talking about. I'm not gonna name no names because I some of those people I like I like and I respect, and I'm not gonna do that. All right, but folks, bro, Hina, and some of these other folks there's some of these other women that are just like Hina, Hina, what are like really? That's like bringing up Unohana from Bleach. That's like, to me, I won't say it's exactly the same or anything like that, but like when it comes to mind, like women sort of characters who are supposed to be, yo, look at that, but don't really get much screen time and don't really do much outside of one particular thing. And even then, it's sort of like in the service of dudes, right? Like when we think about Bleach and we think about Unohana and how she was the original, and how right, and Unohana, what was going on there, that was only really in service to Kenpachi. That was only in service to Zaraki Kenpachi. That's what that was. That wasn't like, oh, Unohana's so great. It was like, Unohana's great, but she's going to make Kenpachi better. She's going to make Zaraki Kenpachi better. You know what I mean? It's just like, even then, Kubo tried so hard. He tried so hard there, and he just utterly failed. Like, aesthetically, amazing. Unohana looked amazing in that moment. I get it. I do. But we gotta look at it. You gotta look at it. Okay? Now, again, I'm not saying that I don't like Unohana or anything like that. I'm just saying, look, come on. Come on. Couldn't let Unohana live. Couldn't let her stay alive. Couldn't let her get busy alive. And I'm going to get to this next thing. And this is the thing to me that, like, this is another thing. I'm going to get to the mom stuff because, Trent mentioned it, and I'm going to get to it. All right, but there's so many things, and like aesthetically, I could get to like the whole thing with like the boobs and all that stuff, but I'm not gonna get into that because folks, because I think to me that's very clear. To me that's very clear, and I think it's a conversation that gets messy, and I just don't have the time to unpack all of that messiness and all that muck. I just don't have the time to do that. But we gotta get so we get to some other characters too, right? Chiffon, Lola, right? Lola had a whole crew. I like Lola, right? But again, Lola had a whole crew. Thriller Bart, all right. But Lola was also kind of wilding at times, and also, her crew ain't really helped like that. Not in the way that they could have if she was like a captain of a crew on the Grand Line. You know what I mean? Like, where, how you're captain on the Grand Line, but you ain't really do much like that when folks is trying to fight odds, and when they were fighting whatchamacallit, Moria? It ain't it. It ain't it. It ain't it. All right. Again, I like Lola, but Oda, and that's pre-time skip. I'm not even gonna get into post-time skip. She wasn't even around. She was just talked about, right? Like physically, she was not around. She was just talked about. I wanted to marry Lola. I wanted Lola to marry someone. I was gonna she was object. Then she left, and but I want to see Lola talk about that. I want to see Lola talk about how she felt about that, how she worked through that, where she is now. That's what I want to see. And yes, of course, there's a side story, right? There's like a cover story going on with that in Search for Lola and all of that. I get it. All right, but I get to ask for more than that. Okay, because to me, again, it's just not enough. Sometimes it's just not enough. Okay, now, but I will say, so I'm gonna move on to the I can mention, so many other characters I can mention. There's one that I'm gonna mention right now, but she's gonna be in relation to sort of the mom stuff. All right. Yeah. I'm gonna start mentioning the mom stuff. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm just marking off the mothers and the mom stuff and all of that. Okay, so we got 6. All right, so we got the mothers and sort of characters related to them. So we have also Hime, Bellemere. I can't remember Robin's mother's name. If y'all can give it to me, please do. It's just because I'm not great with names. Even when it comes to students, it takes me a while to remember names. But if y'all can just throw that in the chat, please do. Toki, Scarlet. All right, but this is the thing, right? This is something that is a pretty it's something that's been talked about in depth. So when we talk about mothers in narratives, especially graphic narratives, especially comic books, manga, all that kind of stuff, we talk about that. There's this concept. There's a concept coined by Gail Simone. So if you read comics and you've ever read Birds of Prey, Batgirl, she actually recently came out with Plastic Man, which is pretty good. But Batgirl and Birds of Prey are sort of the two that she's really really known for. Gail Simone. So she had at one point, I want to say the 90s, late 90s, she came out with coined a term. It was woman in refrigerators. And some of y'all will know what this term is. Some of y'all might not. I don't know. But basically, it's a term that sort of talks about all of the ways in which women are written to be sort of in service in service of sort of men as sort of inspirational kind of symbols, so to speak. All right. So we can't do that. So one thing, so there that happens in comics all the time, right? Someone's a male hero's girlfriend or wife or spouse or whatever, or a significant other is killed or kidnapped or whatever, and that's sort of supposed to galvanize the hero to be all right, I'm gonna go save the day. That's what it's supposed to do because of that. But mothers be dying in these streets. I'm gonna say it one more time. All right, mothers be dying in these streets. We see this in One Piece too often. It's way too often. Oda has this thing. He just loves killing off moms. It's dude, I'm getting serial killer vibes out here. Sir. You killing off moms way too much. Way too often. All right, not way too much. That's not grammatically correct. Way too often. All right? So, when we look at all these mothers, All right. In a lot of ways, again, these mothers are supposed to be symbols that are supposed to galvanize their significant other to do more when they should have been doing more before they died. Like Bella Mare, I mean, look, I'm not gonna say to change up, change the writing, do that. I haven't said that, like in terms of like change a story or do that sort of thing. But it's like that's early in the series, right? And again, I said I was gonna talk a lot about post time skip stuff, but I kind of got to talk about pre time skip stuff to kind of get to the post time skip sort of problematics. So when we get to Bella Mare, it's like this is something that I think we do see Oda sort of haphazardly deal with in terms of sort of Nami's psyche and trauma and how she deals with that and the sort of like decisions that she's made to deal with that, right? But it's also like, again, that's like one of the first sort of like early examples of like a mother just like being like, all right, we're gonna kill the mom, and that mom is gonna inspire Nami to go all right. And to sort of leave all this trauma that she has to deal with. And so this is just one, right? So it starts off, it's like a snowball effect for Oda. And then, and maybe I'll say, we get to other mothers, other parents who have died. All right. We could just kind of list a few of them. Robin's mom, Robin's mother dying. Why, we understand why, but it's also like they couldn't have Robin's mom survive in some way. I mean, they were geniuses. You couldn't figure it out. The mom had to die though. She just had to. You couldn't put a father in there. You couldn't have a father just like pass away. You couldn't have Robin's father pass away and you would be like, oh, dad. Like, you couldn't have that happen. And then, so that's just like, again, another sort of thing that's supposed to like, sort of like push Robin to do the things that she wants to do and to deal with all this sort of trauma that lies with that. And one person said that one thing Oda doesn't do particularly well is he doesn't sort of depict that sort of trauma of losing a parent that early, and a sort of and not in a significant way, but in a way that's sort of like respectful, I guess, or nuanced. So you have Bella Mare, that's one mom, right? Robin's mother's another mom. Father still haven't died like that yet. All right, I haven't seen it. Let's see. We learned about Otohime. Otohime is one that really pisses me off. So let's just go on the list of mothers that have died in One Piece, right? Bella Mare, Otohime, Robin's mom, Sanji's mom, Toki maybe. All right. Scarlet. All right, so we're just going down this list. It's just a list. I may have forgotten some people. Doflamingo's mom. We just going down the list. It's just a list. It's just like it's not a good look. It's not a good look. And all of these deaths are always to push a dude. Not all of them, but most of them. Most of the deaths are to push someone into doing something, and to push and often to push some guy, right? When we think about Orohime, what's particularly annoying about that is that she was doing so much. All right, we can get to the other moms too, but Orohime was doing so much. She was putting in work. She was doing the revolutionary work. Like, if you were like, where the activists at? There she is. Orohime was activist of the story. All right, Fisher Tiger as well, right? Fisher Tiger, Orohime, like that whole like arc was like, a lot of it was about activism in a sense. But they couldn't let her survive though. But they let King Neptune survive. Even though Otohime was the one who, if she was alive, could have done so much more, and if Neptune died, we'd have been like, oh, that's sad. But Otohime's still here, and she's putting in work. You know what I mean? It's like, did we see Robin's father? Did we see Robin's father pass away? I don't think so. Did we see Nami's or Nojiko's fathers pass away? I don't think so. Did we see Sanji's father pass away? No, he's still alive, and he's a piece of garbage. Did we see Rebecca's father pass away? No, he got turned into a toy, and now he's back to being a man, and he has one leg, and he's awesome. Odin, I can't. Doflamingo's mom. Well, we saw Doflamingo kill his father, and he was upset. And the mom and the mom died. I mean, it's a mess. It's a mess there. I just see a lot of moms dying, and a lot of and I'm gonna swear it for this one time. I'm gonna swear this one time, but like a lot of ain't shit fathers. A lot of ain't shit fathers who are like, oh, I gotta become something. I gotta do something. My spouse just died. Damn, what was I doing? Like that's like a common thing. It's like a common thing that happens in not just One Piece, but like other stories. Again, One Piece is not the only story that's done this. This is like a very like typical comic book, like Bronze Age, Silver Age like trope. All right, where we see this time and time again. All right, Gwen Stacy and Spider-Man. In let's say Silver or Bronze Age Green. I want to say Silver Age Bronze Age Green Lantern, with his spouse, like literally in a refrigerator. That's where that term comes from. That particular storyline for Green Lantern, like, it's just ridiculous. Like, and again, this is not one thing. This is one part of a massive, just again, like amalgamation of sexist garbage. All right? No, that's nonsense. That's a nonsense point. Again, to be like, oh, I'm pretty sure everyone feels more attached to a mother than a father. What are you talking about? You got to listen to yourself when you say things. You got to listen to yourself when you say things. All right? There's so many issues with that statement. I'm not even going to get into it, because I think folks here, I think we know the problematics that stem from a comment like that. All right? But it's like, nah. And remember that SBS? I'm pretty sure that was a very real SBS where he was like, the antonym of adventure is mother. He ain't say that about fathers. I'm pretty sure Oda did not say that about fathers. Said that about mothers. That's pretty rough. It's rough. Okay? And now when we think about, all right? Like, when we think about again, the moms, oftentimes the moms are meant to sort of galvanize, most of the time, dudes into doing things, or just people. But again, it's just like, why is it that mothers have these roles? Porcus D. Rouge. Oh my goodness. What was so amazing about Porcus D. Rouge was that she was pregnant for a long time. Which is like, whoa. But it's also like, again, this is like the sort of sexism in that, man. Oh, the sexism in that. I'm not even going to get into like sort of body politics and all of that, because I again, that's like another video for another time. But you can bet that that's trash. Come on. Ace's mom, best thing about Ace's mom is that she held Ace for a crazy number of months. And they were like, yo, right? Who was she? What did she do? Are we gonna see Ace's mom in these flashbacks at all? Is she gonna do anything amazing or bad? You know, is she gonna do anything incredible? Knowing Oda, seeing Oda's track record, I doubt it. And we have a lot of us know that. We know that. Like, we know from just in our gut, we're like, ooh, if a certain woman is introduced, Oda's gonna treat her like garbage. What happened with Toki? I hadn't even read the chapters. I saw Toki. I remember reading that time travel chapter, and I was like, "Oh, he gonna treat her like garbage. He gonna treat Toki like trash." I knew it. I knew it from the bottom of my heart. I was like, from the depths of my soul, I was like, "Oh, he's going, ooh, he gonna treat her like doo doo." What he do? Treat her like doo doo. Why did I know that? Because again, Oda has a track record, right? This doesn't come from nowhere. I'm just not like, oh, I don't like Oda, so I know he's gonna treat him like women like trash. No, Oda has consistently treated women characters and girls and female characters like garbage, consistently. So it's not like it's not far fetched to be like, this ain't gonna be it. And Toki's been treated like doo doo. Okay? Toki fell in love with Odin with the quickness. We didn't see how it happened because Oda's terrible with romances. We already know that. All right, so we're not necessarily expecting much from that. I'm not expecting Oda to do a great job to show like how Toki fell in love with Odin. Odin is. I'm gonna say this before I even move on to like a little bit more about like why Toki is trash, but partly because she fell in love with Odin, and Odin is one of the worst characters I think Oda has ever written. I'm gonna say that right now. One of the worst characters that Oda has ever written is Kozuki Oden. He is garbage. I don't understand how people stand this dude. I don't get it. I honestly don't get it. Like, I'm confused. Like, he's terribly written. Terribly written. But we must stand, I guess. I don't understand it. I don't understand it at all. All right. I'm not gonna go out. I'm not gonna go and say like Odin's like Jiren from Dragon Ball Super, because his character, I don't like. He might as well be a cardboard cutout, and then you might put like a speaker on the cardboard cutout and make the speaker blurt out yells, just like intense yells. That's Jiren. Jiren is like a cardboard cutout with like a speaker box attached, and the speaker box just throws out yells all the time. That's what he is. Terrible. But Odin is garbage. Oh. That is also another video for another time. But that's something that I definitely want to get into. Because I think there are a lot of people who were like, he's so amazing, he's so cool, he's so great. I'm like, cool? Amazing? Stan levels? I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't. And Toki's like, I'm gonna fall in love with this guy, even though he didn't really do much and is not really that great as like for a spouse, like for being like a husband. Kind of trash. Woo. Oof. But who are we gonna get to next? Alright, but Toki been treated like garbage. I have the time fruit, but all I've been doing is running from men. I get into danger, time fruit. Gotta get out of here. I have a sword in my hand, but I don't really know how to use it. Look at these men's. I don't know what to do. Odin, save me. Garbage. Trash. Who we gotta get to next? There are so many other women he not talking about. He not garbage. Lola garbage. Even though I like Lola, but garbage. Chiffon doodoo. Alright? They're twins and they're both garbage. Unfortunately. Or they've been treated like garbage. That's a better sort of way to say that. Bello Betty garbage. That design is a travesty. We understand like the aesthetic, like the power. The devil fruit power is like an interesting power. She's a revolutionary. That's what the like power is supposed to do. I understand that, but like the design is garbage. Garbage. All right. Terrible. Speed is one of the worst characters I've ever seen written. Actually, Speed might be worse than Odin, and that's saying something. Speed might be worse than Odin. Just a god awful character. Odin was like, I'm gonna put what's the word I'm looking for? A cloth. Put a loincloth, not a loincloth, but like just like I'm gonna put a cloth in front of her area because why? She's not gonna really be able to do much, even though she's a gifter, I guess. She has a pretty high rank. I'll look at her One Piece. I'm terrible. My memory gotta be better. But Speed is garbage. Headliner, that's what it is. I'm like, why am I thinking like a headliner? A headliner? Speed is a headliner, folks. Who are the other headliners? Let's see. Let's look at the list. Woo, other headliners. Let's look at the women that are the headliners. How have they been treated? I mean, most of the headliners have been treated like garbage, honestly. And you know, it's not a coincidence that there are largely women, as like there are a decent number of women that are headliners that are treated like garbage. Jin Rummy, Speed, Solitaire. I don't even remember Jin Rummy and Solitaire's names like that. I remember their faces. I remember who they were. I remember they were treated like garbage and they were fodder. And Speed is pretty much treated in the same way. Just trash in a nutshell. But Speed was not it at all. Just a horrible character. And again, I said she's worse than Odin, and Odin is doo-doo. Odin is so doo-doo, I can't even. Odin like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go to a harem at this super young age, and Odin's like, Odin thinks that we're supposed to think that's cool. I'm like, man, the writing, there were points where I just could not stop laughing when I read that chapter. They were like, at age 3, he did this amazing thing that we don't really get to see, and why should we care? You know? Nonsense. And then it's like, Odin is unapologetic. He's just unapologetically garbage. Oh, Odin. Oh, Odin. Shivers. That ain't my type. Odin ain't my type. I'll tell you that much right now. Alright? You're not my type. Pretty sure there's a lot of women whose type Odin is not. Alright? So this is like, you know. Ooh. It just gets worse. It just continues to get worse as like time goes on. Who we got? I'm not gonna get to Nami and Robin yet. I'm not even gonna get to there. I gotta get to Brûlé. So about Brûlé and Tashigi and Koala. Well, those Smoothie. My Smoothie. All right, let's go about those four. Let's just do that. Sort of get into that quick. So when it comes to, I mean, Tashigi, I've talked about this with my friends like quite a few times, and I think like it's just like Tashigi was in the Marines for the longest time, and when we get to the time skip, she's a captain. Oh, she got smoker's rank. Captain rank is whack. It's whack sauce. All right, that's nothing to be like impressed about. I need Tashigi to be at least a rear admiral at this point. At least. All that talk about the swords and the knowledge and I get busy with the sword. with the sword play, I need her to at least be a rear admiral at this point. I'm like, Kobe came through and was like, Zoo! Surpassed her with the quickness. I love Kobe. I adore Kobe, but like, dude, like, Tashiga gotta be at least a rear admiral at this point. She not though. She not. She's been hanging out with Smoker all that time, and that's it. I don't believe that. She got that messed up by Monet. She couldn't even beat Monet. You couldn't give her that. You had to give that to Zoro. You couldn't give Zoro somebody else. There was nobody else that Zoro could have defeated that would have been like, oh. Yikes. All the yikes. Woo. Wally, you're never going to get it. So, that's sad. That's sad. That's sad. It's sad. You're never going to get it, but... Well, there's no but. I mean, you're just never going to get it. You know, maybe someone else can try to convince you. I'm not going to be that person. That's not going to be me. You know, I'm going to keep speaking what I'm speaking on, but... Yo, Tashigi didn't even really have the haki like that. She couldn't do it. She couldn't do it. She had to take Zoro's, sloppy seconds. And then it was like, oh, I'm so cool. We all know that wasn't cool like that. It wasn't. It was Tashigi taking Zoro's sloppy seconds. And Zoro was like getting on her, talking about, you couldn't even defeat that person? I gave you time? You couldn't do that? That's, again, it's just, the sexism is just like oozes out. It's like, a scene like that is so sexist, it's like absurd. But y'all, some of y'all would just be like, I don't understand, it's a shonen manga. I mean, this is what shonen manga is. All you're saying is that shonen manga are sexist. That's all you're saying. You know what I mean? All you're saying is that, oh, well, this is what shonen manga are. You're saying that shonen manga are sexist. Alright. I mean, yeah, that's true. That's what I've been saying. You know? That's like you're saying like for like a shonen manga supposed to have women be shooed away to the side. So for me, it's not even about reading One Piece. I think for me, it's just being like, you know, I think people will always sort of say, oh, well, look at this thing. This has been better. Like, it's hard. I cannot critique a series. Like at least that's how I feel about it. If I'm going to critique a series, I'm critiquing the whole damn thing. I'm not going to let you run away to some other arc or to some other arc or to some other arc and be like, but over here they were better. Over here he was better. Over there they were better. Nope. You're not running you're not running to nowhere else. No. You know what I mean? I could have just said, you know what? I'm gonna stop at Punk Hazard. Nah, because then y'all, some of y'all, like too many of y'all would have been like, but y'all didn't even read the rest of the arcs. Did you see what happened with Big Mom and all these other characters and Chiffon and da-da-da-da? Y'all be doing the most when it comes to that kind of defense. Nope, y'all not getting that defense ever. That's never going to be something that y'all will be able to do with me ever. Never. That ain't going to happen. That ain't going to happen. Y'all not going to run away to some other garbage arc that y'all think is a paragon of intersectional feminism or something. No. So for me, a lot of it is just like when my friends tell me like, oh, like, yo, this BMC, this is garbage sauce. I want to see what the garbage sauce is so that I can be like, yeah, this is garbage sauce. Okay? I don't spend a lot of time like typing up things, like and writing things like articles and stuff like that about One Piece. I spend a lot of time streaming about My Hero and Battle Angel Alita and Haikyuu, and other manga, right? That's what I do. So for me, this is just like a video where I'm just like, all right, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna have people come to this video, and then like, if you want to be convinced, or if you're gonna be convinced, you're gonna be convinced. If you're not gonna be convinced, then talk to somebody else. All right. But Speed is a horribly written character. Might be like even no, yeah, even worse than Rebecca, because at least Rebecca has some relation to an important character in a particular arc. Speed is garbage. All right, but there are other characters that I can mention. Shinobu is treated horribly by Oda. Oda has this really he has this thing out for like older women that aren't like aesthetically pleasing to him. Right? Like he's got a thing where if it's like, oh, if this woman isn't aesthetically pleasing to me, she's gonna be garbage. She's gonna be annoying. She's gonna be someone that people shouldn't like. Shinobu is, whoo, Lord. Whew. Lord have mercy. All right? It's bad. It's bad out here. It's bad out here for Shinobu. I wasn't surprised at all. The second I saw Shinobu's face, I was like, oh, she not gonna make it. She not gonna make it. She not gonna make it. No way. There's absolutely no way. Did y'all see that? Did y'all see the stuff where she was drawing, where Oda was drawing like woman at 16? And he was like, oh, well, if you do what you're supposed to do, you're going to look like this. And this is how, and you're going to look great. You're still going to look great. And you're not going to age much at all. And if you don't do what you're supposed to do, you're going to look awful. And you're going to age. And aging is terrible. And looking older is horrible. It's just like, y'all, come on, man. This is the thing. Folks don't even want to admit that Oda is sexist. Folks want to be like, what are you talking about? Oda's not sexist. Folks don't even want to admit that he's sexist. They don't even want to get there. Of course, shoujo can be sexist. Like there are definitely issues with shoujo manga. This is something that has been written about quite often. All right, but this is the thing, right? It's like if you're not looking for that, if you haven't talked to the people that, let's say, like that I talk to, that talk about the issues that shoujo manga have all the time, especially like certain popular shoujo manga. They have their own issues, you know. But this look. It's just a lot. It's just a lot. It's a mess, y'all. It really is a mess. All right. But the way that Oda treated Shinobu in this arc has been terrible. Folks really like. And I went through the streams that I had missed, and I was like, folks really did not like Shinobu. What a surprise! Why don't they like Shinobu? Because she's like, this is something that Shakespeare talked about in Taming of the Shrew. Like the title of Shakespeare's play is like garbage, right? Of Taming of the Shrew, of the woman who just why is she talking so much? Why she have opinions? Why does she feel like she gets to say things independent of the thoughts of men? Ugh, terrible. She is shrewish. You know, this is the thing. All right, Skip Beat is cool. But this is the thing for me. It's like I always want to talk about these things because I think there are just so many people that it's like, I think there are people that don't get it and can get it. There are people that I just think will not get it, and I don't have time for those. Like I don't really have time or like the energy to spend on those people. But I don't want them to, like, you know, be running loose, you know, being awful. You know, I would like folks to talk with them, for them to talk with folks. It's just not gonna be me. All right. But you know, yeah, it is what it is. All right. But let's get to but I like when it comes to Wano and a critique of Wano. I mean, one big critique of Wano is just, again, the way that women are treated. Women are treated like trash in Wano. Treated like garbage. Kuro Masaki, aka Hiyori. All right. Whew. Don't get me started on that. Don't get me started. Okiku is great. I love Okiku. She's bad. She's badass. She's dope. but one person does not make it to like, oh, but Okiko's cool. She's a woman and she's amazing. That like one person, like, right, like one woman does not make up for the rest of the other garbage. I've talked about sexism in My Hero in a few of the streams that I've done, like the reactions that I've done. And I think that's a video that I'm gonna make. I think I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna have a stream and I'm gonna have folks, to talk about it with. But I have to read through My Hero. I think there are folks that don't think that that's a thing, and that's like, no, it is a thing. It is a thing in My Hero too. All right. So don't think that just because I'm reading My Hero does not mean that I don't see the sexism in My Hero, because it's there. It's there. It is. It is. Nah. Come on, man. Look, I'm not gonna get into the stuff with My Hero and Momo's costume and other costumes. It's just like I can't deal with it. It's not that I can't deal with that right now. I just, again, energy is a thing, and I just don't have the energy to like go into My Hero as well. This is like a video about One Piece, but you can bet that I'll definitely get to that sooner rather than later. So that's something that I will do. But like, we should talk about. I'm not going to talk about Nami and Robin because I think, I'm going to talk about them, but not like super super in depth. Because a lot of that stuff with them is post time skip stuff, right? But I mean, like, Shida Hoshi is like not a garbage character, but like, nah, she trash. But it's like people don't understand that like Shida Hoshi should be better. She should be better, and she's not. There are reasons why I say that, but outside of like, folks are trying to kidnap her, but she's just like, I don't know what to do. And it's like Luffy was chastising her all the time, talking about, what are you doing? And he was wrong for that, because he didn't know about what she was going through. He was wrong for that. Luffy was talking way too much. It's like, Luffy, go somewhere, eat some meat, all right, and shut up. All right, because you don't get what Shida Hoshi has been through, why she's the way that she is, how she's lived. You don't know what's going on. Shut up, Luffy. All right, but she's still the character that she is, and that's and again, I can see an argument being made for, oh well, she's still dealing with all that stuff, and she's still growing and still dealing with the trauma and all of that. But also, that's not something that she should have had to sort of had dealt with in the first place, in that way. And I don't know. Maybe I'm just rambling in that. Maybe I'm just like talking on my butt, like in that sense. But I think that like you don't need to make certain characters docile and weak, and especially women, and especially women, girls, teen girls. Like, you don't need to make them like that. You don't need to do that, but you make a choice to do that. And then the question is why. And then when you think about the context of the entire story, then it's not just Shida Hoshi is meek and fragile in this way. This is a part of a larger issue, so Mineta is garbage. Mineta is the worst character of My Hero. Easily. He's so terrible. I don't know why he's there. I don't know why he's there. I genuinely have no idea why he's there. Because it's not funny, really. At least to a lot of people, because I don't think it's funny. But maybe I guess he's there to be like this funny character, but he's garbage. He's trash. Get him out of here. Throw the whole thing out. All right. But all right, let's get to Brulee literally becomes an item to be used. Right? She's like literally carried around throughout the majority of the Whole Cake Island arc. Oh, somebody needs to get through the mirror. Like, oh, I need to get through the mirrors. Oh, let me just carry Brûlée. You know what I mean? And multiple characters have carried her and tied her up. It's just like, bruh, Oda just does not get it, yo. He does not get it. He just continues to do garbage thing after garbage thing. You know? Again, it's so many things. Food Wars. Food Wars is tough. Food Wars is a lot of stuff that I would say about Food Wars. I'm not gonna get into that right now, but you know, I think I was a fan of Food Wars for a bit, and then I was just like, and then the way it ended, oh, that was one of the worst endings to a Weekly Shonen Jump manga, like a popular one that I've ever read. Like, it was horrible. It was horrible. It was horrible, y'all. It was horrible. It is horrible. It is horrible because the ending is still there. But terrible, terrible stuff. But we got to talk about last but not least, three characters. We got to talk about Nami and Robin and what sort of happened to their characters after the time skip. And then we have to talk about Big Mom and what's sort of going on with Big Mom. All right, because I really want to get into the Big Mom stuff because people really go out of their way to use these like really like doo-doo rhetorical strategies to defend how Big Mom's been written as a character, and I want to talk about that. But Nami and Robin, Lord. I mean, comics, same thing. That happens in comics all the time. All right? I'm not saying, like, you know, there aren't comics that, you know, do a great job or that there aren't manga that do a great job. There are. I'm just saying, a lot of these popular manga, they got issues with sexism. A lot of the popular comics, too. All right? So we got to talk about it. Now, Nami and Robin. So we got to talk about Nami and Robin. All right. What happened? This is the thing that folks have been asking. Like many fans of of One Piece have asked, what happened to Robin? It's Robin especially. Nami. It's not that she hasn't done anything or anything like that, but you know, the outfits are just like the outfits have become more and more risque. In the way that like she's sort of been like being like presented. There's a point where Kinemon puts her in an outfit that she clearly understands is garbage, but she's like, you know what, I'm gonna stay in it. Not a big deal. Which is like such garbage writing. It's like Nami could have just said, "What you doing, fool?" and then made him change the outfit. But Oda didn't want that because sexism. So look, like that's like an egregious case, right? We could talk about Sanji. I could talk about Sanji all day, but I think that's gonna be its own video because oh Lord. All right, Sanji is garbage. All right. Now again, it's not to say that comics, you know, haven't been sexist. No, it's not to say that comics like aren't sexist because like there are a lot of sexist comics. All right. Like the woman in refrigerators like trope stems from Western comics. So there are quite a few storylines that are. But that doesn't mean that like I'm gonna tell people don't read comics, don't read manga. All right, I'm just pointing out this stuff. I mean, I'm not gonna get into seinen. I'm not gonna talk about that because there's a lot of stuff there too. Seinen, you got a lot of seinen that like are way too okay with sexual assault. You know, shonen too, but seinen takes it to like this other level that is. It's like, bruh, y'all okay? Like when you see certain things, you're like, are y'all okay? It's wild. Yeah. So Nami, there's been stuff that she's done, but the stuff has been so paltry in comparison to the stuff that other that men have done and her own crewmates have done. And this is a consistent thing, right? It's like in comparison to Luffy, Sanji, Zoro, Chopper, Frankie, like she's been like, all right. But it's gotten even more sort of like pronounced. She could do something that's amazing, but it's like, oh, she has Zeus. Now what? The only reason it's cool that it's interesting that she has Zeus is because you know Big Mom's gonna come after Zeus. That's it. People are like, oh, she's gonna be so strong now. She's got the lightning ability. I'm like, she's not gonna keep Zeus. If she does, that's wild to me. She's not keeping Zeus. You know? So they're just little things that make me really upset about Nami because Nami should be doing way more. And Oda doesn't really allow for that in a way that he should. And Robin has been, Robin just be like, I'm gonna make a clone and run away. I can't. Robin just be exhausted all the time. Like, I'm gonna make a clone and get out of here. I'm not trying to fight none of these ninja. Shinobi. I'm not trying to fight none of them. I'm good. Ugh. All right. All the poneglyph stuff. She's just like, I'm gonna read this poneglyph and then go about my business. That's all I'm gonna do. I'm gonna read these poneglyphs and then I'm gonna get out of here. I ain't gonna do nothing but be eye candy for Sanji and some other gross dudes in the bathhouse. Sad. You hate to see it. You hate to see two awesome characters be treated like doo-doo like that. You really do. You hate to see it. But this is where we are. All right? And folks will give me the excuse, oh, we got to focus on these other characters. But all Oda does is focus on other characters and treat those other women like garbage. Yeah? Yeah? Treat them like garbage. So it is what it is. It is what it is. You know, and we got to deal with it. You know, we got to talk about it. I sneeze. Excuse me. Should I have a tissue? No, I don't need a tissue, actually. I'm good. But you hate to see it. You really do. The sexism is rampant. All right. Who is the best written woman in One Piece? I don't know. I don't know. I gotta think about that. I gotta really think about that because I'm not sure. I honestly don't know. I don't know. I'm not saying that there are no women that are dealt with in a great way. I don't know. I'm not trying to like dodge the question, Trent, because I think it's a good question. I just have to really think about it. I could pick one. I could pick a female character that's like written well, like in One Piece. But what would happen is I would have to pick a particular narrative thread. Or I would have to pick a particular part of a narrative thread. For that set character. Yeah. So I think for me, I would say I think Robin was written pretty well. And his lobby Water 7, I think that was real. That was pretty well done. I would say that was pretty well done. If I had to pick like moments, like a moment, like a narrative sort of like moment with like, or a narrative thread moment, it would be that. I would say that's probably like Oda was doing a pretty good job there, right? Because it wasn't just right because it was like Robin was like, she had she had attitude, she had charisma, very just a dope vibe, you know. And then she was like, I'm doing my thing, I'm doing me, I'm out of here, And we knew there was a reason under it. We knew there was a reason why she was doing what she was doing, but she was like, y'all not gonna stop me. And then we got the backstory. We understood where all of that where all that guardedness was coming from. And then she was like, yo, take me out to sea. And then she got to fight with the crew after she got her handcuffs taken off and was like, get out of here, Spandam. So to me, that was phenomenal. But then, you know what I mean? It's just like, it just wasn't it. Like, so like there was like the vibe that Robin had just disappeared. It just wasn't there. And some people might say that she dealt with her trauma and she's pushing forward and doing all these certain things. But like post time skip, Robin is not pre time skip Robin. And I think we understand that in terms of growth, but it's also just like where the vibes at, where the dope Robin vibes at. What happened? So those are things that I think we always have to discuss. We always have to talk about. So I think like for me, if I had to pick something like a thread, like a narrative thread moment, it would be that. I think that was very well done on Oda's part. Right, because she got to fight after, and deal with the trauma and work through it and all of that. That was pretty well done. Not many women get that chance in One Piece. Not many women get that chance to have a narrative thread part like that. Not many women get like in One Piece get the chance to do that. To do what Robin got to do. And to not only say, okay, I want it like I'm guarded, now I'm being vulnerable. I'm dealing with this trauma. And now that I have these people that'll support me, I'm gonna fight for them and I'm gonna fight with them. And I'm gonna be dope and look fashionable doing it. Robin was looking good. She was looking great. She was like, I got an outfit, I'm ready. Like it's like Naya always says, who gon' press me? Right? Like Robin was ready. Robin was ready to she's ready to vogue. She was ready to vogue. All right, come through. So that's sort of thing. Now, that's sort of like a bit about Nami and Robin, and we can talk about the aesthetics, but I think to me that's like kind of like obvious. It's obvious to talk about how their aesthetics changed from pre-time skip to post-time skip. I mean, like boobs, bigger boobs, okay, and just ridiculous. And the outfits that they were wearing, and it just ridiculous. So the outfits that they were wearing just compounded the body sort of like issues, and the sort of male gazy stuff that was happening with Oda, that is still happening with Oda. Big Mom, we got to talk about. This is gonna be a long video, but it is what it is. Big Mom is probably one that really gets on my nerves. Whoo, Lord. Big Mom be getting on my all the like comments on Big Mom be getting on my nerves, y'all. Y'all don't even know. I'd be like, what are you talking about? Y'all really trying to convince me that you know what I mean? And look, I'm not gonna talk about Carrot and Wanda because that's what it is. But I'm just, again, this is just like the list. This is the list that I have. You know what I mean? It's just a list that I've been like looking at, that's been like working through. All right, Big Mom is the big one. Big Mom is the big one that we're gonna talk about. All right. So we gotta talk about Big Mom. All right, let's talk about it. Okay. So folks have been presenting these sort of takes, about Big Mom is such an amazingly written woman. She's so powerful. She has done so much. Oda hasn't treated her like garbage at all. And I think there are just like a few things that we sort of have to talk about. Probably the first thing I think that we have to sort of acknowledge is that it's not a coincidence that when Luffy is introduced to Big Mom and in Whole Cake Island, not first introduced, but like when the clashes start to happen, when like when stuff goes down, it's not a coincidence that leading up to that, Big Mom has sort of been portrayed as sort of incompetent, right? And her pirate crew has been portrayed as incompetent. Like they've just like what's the word I'm looking for? Foible after like just like garbage decision after garbage decision after garbage decision, right? And then it doesn't get any better. It doesn't get any better. It just continues to get worse, right? Her crew just is not capable in the way that they should be. The Straw Hats escape during their clashes. But I think the thing to sort of really sort of see is just that there is a reason why Big News Morgan is able to write the article that he writes. There is a reason why Big News Morgan has enough confidence in writing that article, right? And right, there's a reason why Big News Morgan has enough confidence in what he's seen and what he's witnessed to write an article that, of course, is like partly fictitious, right? It's embellished, but at the core of it is Big Mom got embarrassed. All right, and I think we all knew, right? Like, there's a reason why we were so upset with this, with like Oda sort of portraying the Thousand Sunny being destroyed, and then being like, okay, it wasn't destroyed. Watatsumi put it in his mouth, which is like whatever. I thought Watatsumi was down for the count. I don't know what happened. Oven hit him with the 2-piece. All right. Heat torpedoes. All right. And I thought Watatsumi was done, but apparently he wasn't done. He had enough wherewithal to put the Thousand Sunny in his mouth and everyone else. I was just like, okay. But it's just a mess. It's just a mess. And I think that, like, again, one thing to note is that, yeah, we have a moment where, it's clear that Luffy could not handle Big Mom physically, right? But, again, there is no way, all right, that Oda is picking, that Oda is embarrassing a Yonko, and that Oda is picking one of the dude Yonkos to embarrass. He's not gonna, he wouldn't do it. All right. Some of y'all would be like, maybe he would do it. You don't know. No. Again, Oda has a track record. All right. Oda has a track record. He does. He has a track record. He does. He's got a track record. And it's not good. So whenever I see women treated in a certain way, I know it's not gonna end well. I know it. I already know. Okay. So let's look at So again, Big Mom gets embarrassed, her crew gets embarrassed. Morgan is able to write that article because he has enough evidence to sort of portray it in that way. Right? And When you ask yourself if Oda would have done that to Shanks, you know that's a big no-no. When you ask yourself if Oda would have done that to Whitebeard, you know that's a big no-no. When you ask yourself if Oda would have done that to Kaido, we have to look at what's happened to Blackbeard. No, hasn't done that yet. All right. When you ask it if he would do that to Kaido, we have to look at what's been happening. Folks really think that Oda embarrassed Kaido by having Luffy fight him while he was drunk, as if that's something, as if that's like a response that makes any sort of sense. When really what happened there was that Luffy was so weak that Kaido could be like half asleep and drunk and just let Luffy come at him, and then said, I'm not even going to beat you in my dragon form. I'm in my mythical Zoan form. I'm going to go into my basic form and swat you like a fly. Right? That's not embarrassing for Kaido. Last I checked, when someone gets baby shaped like that, when somebody gets wet like that, that's not embarrassing for the person that baby shaped the other person. Last I checked. Right now, it's not looking too good for the Straw Hats in the arc. Last I checked, the Straw Hats are getting embarrassed. Last I checked, Luffy was put in a jail cell. Man was knocked unconscious. Last I checked, that wasn't embarrassing. I don't know if Big News Morgan would say Luffy was knocked unconscious by Kaido, and that's how we know that the new Emperor of the Sea has arrived. I don't think we're going to see that. So, you know, the thing, again, it's like, it's not a coincidence that Oda chose the one female Yonko to embarrass in the newspaper. That's not a coincidence. We might think that it's a coincidence, but it is not. I guarantee you. Again, Oda has a track record. This is just another part of that track record. He has a really hard time treating women well. Especially women that aren't beautiful and look good, right? And don't conform to his standards of beauty. He's not very good with them. So that's one thing. Another, again, it's not just that Big Mom has been embarrassed, but like her entire crew was just like embarrassed. It's one and the same, right? Kaido's crew was full of garbage, folks. But Kaido hasn't really been embarrassed. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? There's a difference. You know, we know Kaido's crew was kind of trash, right? We saw Ashura Doji just say, "I'ma check you, Jack. Get out of here, trash." All right? He said, "Get out of here." Slice. Done for. Then Kaido came through and Jack was like, "Oh, I got slashed. Now Kaido's here. What do I do?" All right. Queen got it. I wouldn't say Queen got embarrassed because she was fighting the Yonko, but Queen wasn't really doing much. All right. King, he hit a boat, so I'm not impressed by that because he didn't come at Big Mom and people in the crew. He just took out the boat. So, what else we got? You know, so I mean, like, Big Mom has just been embarrassed, and even now, she came to Wano, and they were like, they're fighting for so long. This is so cool, and folks are like, but look, she's fighting Kaido. It's like, one, we already knew that they were on like the same strength level, so we didn't need to see them fight and then battle out for days to know that they're on the same strength level. It's not about whether they're on the same strength level. It's about treating someone who is on the same strength level differently than someone else, right? Who was on that strength level. To embarrass Big Mom and not to embarrass the other Yonko. It's pathetic. It's not good. So, she came to Wano. Oda decided, you know what? I'm going to have her have amnesia. And I think people were rightfully like, what is that? That is garbage. People are like, Amnesia can be written well. Amnesia can be written well. Okay. I mean, that's fine, but Big Mom's Amnesia wasn't written well. At all. We were supposed to be laughing, right? But it wasn't written well. It wasn't written well. All right, and I think a lot of us know that. And again, it's just another thing. Oda has the chance, right, to say, you know what? I'm gonna let it all hit the fan right now. Let's see what we got. Let's see. Come on. He didn't do it. Again, another embarrassing sort of thing. Big Mom is on the boat. King comes in, a subordinate comes in and just says, I'm gonna blow up the boat. Big Mom couldn't just say, Big Mom couldn't be like, out of here, fly. Turd under my shoe. She couldn't do that? She couldn't do that? Really? How? You know what I mean? It's just garbage. And Ninja was trash. The fact that their boat got trash. Okay? It was just like Oda could not figure out a good way to have Big Mom sort of out of the picture, but in the picture at the same time. He just couldn't figure out a good way to do it because it was just a not so good decision on his part, because it's very clear that Oda wants things to work out in this arc, right? For the Straw Hats, for Wano. So it doesn't make any sense. So he's kind of put himself between a rock and a hard place. He has to make a decision, right? To say, do I let this chaos ensue, and do I let the Straw Hats be like in deep doo-doo, like real deep doo-doo, because, or, you know, before they get to set everything up and do all the stuff that they wanted to do, or do I figure out some contrived nonsense reason why Big Mom isn't doing what she should be doing at that point in the narrative, right? So again, he wrote himself into he wrote himself into like a bad narrative place, and he had a bad plot place, like he wrote himself into a bad plot point in the story, and he had to figure out how to salvage it, and he did it. He didn't do so great. All right. Now, again, critiques of just like Wano and stuff like that, I'm not going to get into that because that's not what this video is about. But again, like if it comes to Wano, Oden trash, Toki trash, the Scabbards just ain't it. They just feel like bad video game characters. Except for Okiku. I like Okiku. And that's it. You know, Kinemon is Chad Light. I'll get to the other ones, but they are whack. Ashura Doji is I don't know. I'm not getting into like the specifics or anything. But I think I'm gonna stop here. But again, it's like all of the women not all the women, but too many women are treated like garbage in One Piece. And it's like, again, I had a list, and you go on and talk about how trash they're treated. And I think the thing that gets to me is like people will just be like, it is what it is. And I'm like, no, because you have to acknowledge the garbage, and then you have to work to make sure that garbage doesn't happen. Do you know what I mean? Like, there are stories written where a woman is treated like garbage, and there's a reason for that depiction. You know what I mean? Not in this way, in other ways, right? Where like, you know, like there are stories where like a woman is in a really bad sort of situation, and is treated like garbage, and is dealing with abuse and all sorts of different things, and there are things that we're supposed to sort of learn from those particular narratives, right? And the experiences of those women are treated with respect. But this is not one of those narratives. One Piece is not one of those narratives. So that's why I'm like, we got to talk about it. We always got to talk about it. We always got to put our stuff out there. All right. And people want so badly to not talk about it, to not, to not let it be known. And I'm like, I'm sorry, that's not your decision. I get to do this. I do. So, start thinking, start, figuring out how One Piece, could be better moving on, and start, telling Oda like, yo, the dreams of young boys and you know, and your fan base aren't like treat women like garbage, straight up. I don't know, maybe some of them are. Some of those dudes, some of those boys. Give me a sec, I'll be right back. All right, but it's like, all right, it is what it is. It is what it is. You know what I mean? So yeah. All right, I gotta get out of here, y'all. This is a 2-hour stream. I didn't realize it would be this long. All right, I gotta go. All right, so obviously there are things that I can always do better, critiques that I could be more like clear about, things like that. And in the future I will be. I think I'll try to be more succinct in certain ways. But again, this is why it's entitled Ramblings. It's just like sort of me like throwing things out there, seeing how people feel about certain things, and it is what it is. All right, so the next Ramblings won't be like One Piece based. It'll be like something like different. All right, but I'm gonna make this a playlist. So if you want to find the other, the Ramblings like in the future, you can just like go to that playlist and you'll be able to find it. And yeah. All right. You know what I mean? So I think I'm gonna stop here. Cause it's late. And I want to get something to drink. My throat's a little parched. But we're gonna talk about all this stuff. All right. I might set up a stream where folks can talk about it. But I don't know. I don't know how useful that will be. Like, if I have like just like one side and another side, I don't know how useful that is. All right. Let me get out of here. Expect some more streams during the week for Battle Angel Alita, My Hero, Haikyuu, Spy Family, Promise Neverland. Okay, expect some reactions for those. I think it's Basada. Basada. I'm finally gonna start Vinland Saga this week. Look out for that first chapter reaction. The first chapter for Basada was dope, so I'm gonna continue reading that. So yeah. All right. Thank y'all for coming through. Thank y'all for listening. For all those that came through and support and just like said things and had like ideas and opinions about what I said. Thank y'all for coming through. Like again, I've been doing this for a while now, so y'all already know what it is. Okay, and I'm gonna keep it moving. You know what I mean? Like I think like I've read enough. I think at this point I've read enough of Wano. Like where it is right now. I've read enough to be like, this ain't it. I've read enough to know this ain't it. I have. All right? I know. No. Okay? So, Oda's a sexist. Y'all better recognize that. And if you can't recognize that, I worry. All right? Seek help, please. All right? Seek it. All right, let me get out of here, y'all. All right? Thank y'all for coming through to the stream. All right, Ramblings number 3 will probably be out in the next like, not this week, probably next week, unless it's something that I really want to talk about. But maybe My Hero, maybe I won't plan it for My Hero because I don't want the Ramblings to just be like that. But maybe like maybe Ramblings number 4 will be My Hero and like Sexism. But I've already kind of talked about that in like the first Ramblings and this second one. So maybe I want to do something different. But trust me when I say like I will like be critiquing my hero and talking about things that I don't like about my hero. All right. But yeah. All right. I'm gonna say let me get out of here for the third time. All right. Let me end this stream. Thank you to everybody that came through. Y'all were y'all were great. You said what you needed to say, and I'm gonna get out of here. All right. Thank y'all for coming through, y'all. I'm the Black Manga Critic, and I'm